Hi everybody, this is Teri from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, Junk Journal Tutorials and More Facebook group, the Junk Journal and Paper Crafts Facebook group, and also the Sweet Pea Papers Coffee Shop, where right now I think I'm going to extend the 25% off sale on all my journals, folios, and interactive books through the month of July. And there's a code. It's going to be July 25, and you just put that code in at checkout and you'll get the discount. This is the 4th annual Crafty Christmas in July. Now, we started this in 2021. Yes. And I started the Facebook group in 2020. And it's been a blast every year, and I'm looking forward to this year's event quite a bit. We're going to have some live events this year, which we haven't had before, and we're also going to have a couple of Instagrams and a couple others, I think. So it's going to be very exciting this year to see all of the different collaborators, all their different makes and projects and things like that. Now, the Crafty Christmas in July is always hosted by me and Sweet Pea Papers, the Junk Journal group, and Sweet Pea Papers Junk Journals Facebook group, and also the Sweet Pea Papers YouTube channel. So now July 1st through July 31st is when it's going to run. We have 30 collaborators, more than 50 videos, and about 5 lives, 20 prizes plus in the drawing at the end of the month, which is actually going to be on August 3rd. That's the first Sunday after the end of the event. And the collaborators had 2 kits donated for them to work with. And one of them was by Stacy McDaniel, Crafty Dragon Creation, and that was Steampunk Christmas. And the other one was from Karen Villanova from Creative Paper Artisan, and she donated Christmas Mice, which is what we just happened to be finishing up today. And the hashtag for this month is Crafty Christmas in July 25. And of course, that's all one word. And don't forget the hashtag in front of it. This is our calendar, just to give you an idea of all the things that we have planned for you. We've given you a little bit of a break and had just one person on Saturdays and Sundays, and then 2 or 3 people a day during the month, so that you can keep busy. But we give you weekends to catch up. Now, I mentioned a drawing at the end of the month, and here's the information on that. There's going to be a drawing on August 3rd on a Sunday for the Crafty Christmas in July 25 event. The drawing will be held on the Sweet Pea Papers YouTube channel. It will be aired there very early on Sunday, August 3rd, for you to watch and see if you're one of the winners. And keep watching all the way through, because we've got a lot of prizes, including free junk journal kits and ebooks. I wrote an ebook called Junk to Gem, and it's on Amazon right now, but you can get a free copy. I'm going to give away, I think, 3 free copies during the drawing. So how do you enter? The entering is easy. You create a Christmas project or projects with any papers that you want. It'd be nice if you used Karen or Stacy's papers, and there's links in the Linktree link below that will take you right to their Etsy shops, so you can check it out and get the Christmas kits on your own, and then you can craft along with us. But you don't have to. You can use any papers you want. Post a picture or pictures, Christmas papers that you want. Post a picture or pictures or video or videos of your projects in the Sweet Pea Papers, it should say Junk Journal Facebook group, with the hashtag Crafty Christmas in July with each post. And each post is worth 1 entry in the drawing. You can enter more than 1 post per day for more entries into the drawing. And then you must post your entries by July 31st, 2025. And when you make your post, if you want, if you're not using, or if you are using Karen or Stacy's kit or anybody else's, it's okay to mention the name of whoever's kit that you're using. Please don't link to the Etsy shops. We'll know how to figure that one out. But just give us a description of what your project is, a link to or not a link, but mention the person whose kit you're using if you want, and post your entries by July 31st. Okay, so this is the last one of these videos that I'm making. The two flip throughs of the two projects that we've done are going to be live at the end of the month on the 30th, I believe. Let me double check my calendar. Yes, on July 30th, I'm going to do a live and do the double Christmas flip through of both journals. Okay, so that's that. Now we've got our journal signature done. Let's see. And so we need to measure this. We need this for the inside. So we're going to put a string on there to tie it shut. And so let's see what we've decided that we need. I think it was 1 1/4. It's 1, and that's a 1/2, but we're going to tie it. We tie it, we could get away with 1. We could get away with a 1-inch spine. We're going to tie it. I'm going to say let's go with a 1-inch spine. If it's a little bit of a gator mouth by 1/4 of an inch, then that's all right because we're going to tie it shut. How about that? Okay, put my ruler in the wrong place. You know how that is for me. Cannot have the rulers or anything else in the wrong place. I was looking back at this pocket that we did in the last video, and I really, really like it. I haven't added any lace or anything to it because I really don't want to cover up anything that's on there. So we're just going to leave it like that. We're going to be using cream colored paper, some dark green colored paper, and I'm going to have to go get some craft colored paper to make a cover. The first thing we're going to do, I'm just leaving this right here for a reminder. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue together, which I've already done, 2 pieces of cream colored craft paper. This is 65-pound craft stock. And this is what we're going to make our journal out of. Now, this is way bigger than what we're going to need. So I've got, I've got some cardboards cut out that were too small for the last project. As you can see, I started to glue it and then I realized, but we're going to have to cut these down even more. So let's get a page. Let's not take these apart. Let's do it this way. Let's take a page, and we're going to want to go a 1/2 inch let's see, 8.5 to 9 is 1/2 inch. Let's see if we can do it by measuring. Seven and a quarter. That would be 7 3/4 tall, which is backwards to the way we should be measuring it. So it's going to be by 7 3/4, and then the width four 7/8 and a half is 4 That doesn't seem right. 1, 2. That's going to be 5 3/8. By 7 3/4. That's how big our front and back cardboard pieces need to be. Okay, so let's put this away. So it needs to be 5 3/8. Let's do it by the edge. Five and 3/8 wide. Oh, that was right. 5 3/8 wide. And 7 3/4 tall. These are all the other pieces for our cover. Looks about right. Kind of wish I had made it 1/8 of an inch bigger all the way around. Because I want to put 2 colors in here plus this paper. Let's make it a smidge bigger. This is lightweight chipboard, so we're going to have to glue 2 pieces together. This one's too small, so let's put it somewhere it won't get mixed in. So if we add 1/8 of an inch, it's going to make it 5 1/2 by 7 7/4 or 7/8. Okay, so let's try that again. Five 1/2 by 7 7/8. These are scraps that I've got. We're going to make the spine out of 2 of these. And of course my alarm's going off. Okay, sorry about that. And I had one more that I needed to turn off. This one I may be able to make into 2. Okay, so there's 2. It's going to give us an extra one. Five and a half by 7 7/8. Okay, so we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to glue these 2 together. Now, normally I have this part all done, but I wanted to show you how to measure the size. And I added an 1/8 just because I wanted to have enough room to make the topper part. And when you glue these together, you don't have to glue the middle unless you want to. Mine are curved a little bit. They came that way in the package from Amazon. So where it's curved up, I'm going to put the other one where it's curved down. And then that will give me a flat piece of paper or cardstock. Okay. Looks like this one's a smidge bigger than the other one. I'm going to do the same with this because it's curved up. It's not as bad as it was when it came from Amazon. I have been having it sandwiched between two large books, but I still couldn't get all of it out, and it's been squished in there for, I would say, a total of a couple of months. I've been using papers out of the pack, but still the whole thing has been squished for about, I would say, at least 2 months. So this is as good as it's going to get. Okay, so we need 2 pieces 7 7/8 inches tall and 1 inch wide. These should do it. I'd like it to be a little bit wider to make it easier to cut the 1 inch off of my paper trimmer. Yeah, that's better. It's really difficult to narrow down narrow pieces of paper because my ginormous paper trimmer, you can't see the edge right where the metal piece is very well sometimes. Okay. So we're going to make this 1 inch wide. And 7/8 inches long. Let's see if these two came out the same size. I realize that may sound funny, but sometimes I measure as best I can and they come out a little bit different. Being curved does not help. Now on the spine I do glue them completely together. Because you don't want the spine bulging out when you open and close the journal. You'll hear me call it a book just because it has a hard cover, so you'll know what I mean. Okay. Now we're going to take this paper and we're going to glue these on here, and then I'm going to try to trim it down. I'm going to put this in the center, on the center where the glue is, and then about 1 inch up from the bottom. Okay. This we're going to glue all the way like we did when we glued them together. We want it stuck to the paper as well as we can get it. Okay, so we want it about 1 inch up. And we want it straight on the spine. Got some glue seepage down here, which is actually okay, but we'll take care of it. Now we want to take this one and we want to glue it straight across with a little gap. If you want to use this tool, this is called a bookmaker's tool, and it will ensure that your pages are straight and an equal distance apart. This is a little wide for me, so I measure it so that they're straight, and then I move it in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and put the glue on, and then we'll take care of that. And then just to cream color, the glue will show through sometimes, but let's just give it one of these. I don't usually do this, but we're going to give it a try. Okay. My design team group is posting the event for this week. This is the second week. The third week in June. And they're posting the new event for the week. If you want, you can use your bone folder to make the distance right. And do the same thing on the other side. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we probably will go over an hour. So make sure to get your coffee and then pause it 45 minutes in and get some more. I don't anticipate it going super over, but I do anticipate it going over. Especially because I forgot to get out the craft paper and I'm going to have to go grab some. Okay. Get it straight and then move it in a little bit. This one looks like it's a teeny bit shorter. Okay. Now we need it to be about 1 inch on either side. This will be able to cut using the paper trimmer. This is going to be too wide to fit in the paper trimmer, so we're going to have to do it by hand. Remember, the bottom is already measured because we glued it on that way. In fact, it's a little short. One, two, three, four. Make it straight. I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. I'm using a Tim Holtz ruler. So I'm going 4/2 over, and then I'm lining this up straight so that I know my line is straight. And then I'm drawing the line. All the way down. Okay? Let's get this cut off. For this one, we're going to have to use the scissors, which I hate trying to cut in a straight line. I don't usually have that great of a result, but we'll see. I didn't cut on a straight line on this one, and it was on the paper trimmer. Okay, now we're going to want to use the tool again. And we're going to draw where to cut the corners at a 45-degree angle. You're going to have to put this end up over your cardboard and then line that part up. This is about $8 on Amazon, this tool, and it's called a bookmaker's tool again. I find it handy, especially for these corner marks versus trying to do it by hand or by eye, which is not that hard either, but still. We're done with that, so we can put that tool away. Temporarily put our bone folder away. Now I cut just inside the line so it isn't too long on the corners, and make that extra little pointy area here. You do have to be careful. You don't want it to be too short. Okay, so we've taken the 4 corners off, and now we're going to fold this over and glue it. So you're just going to take this and kind of tell the paper where you're going to make it bend. Kind of break the fibers down a little bit. I'm going to do it all the way around. We're going to go ahead and glue. This is where you need a lot of glue. I would start with a full glue bottle if I were you. Go along, give it a decent size amount of glue where the cardboard meets the paper. And you want to do a nice bead up here because that's what's going to hold down the edge on the paper. And then just put some glue in here to help hold it down and make it flat. Oops. Or just go crazy and get glue everywhere. And then you're going to take this and flip it over just like so. See, as you can see the glue, but we're covering everything, so. This part you want to especially make sure it's glued down. I'm going to do this side. Oh, come on, string. We don't need you till the next step. It's like putting down grout, I think. And you're going to notice the little kind of wrinkly looking fold. And then we'll fix that in just a minute. Oh, I didn't put, I don't know what I was thinking. That was silly. I put it along where the cardboard meets the paper and then I didn't put it anywhere else. If you're using Fabri-Tac and you're pushing down like this and you don't hear any crinkles, you've got a pretty good chance having all the air bubbles worked out. Okay, we're going to get our bone folder. Do not use the tip. Use this edge. You can use this rounded area right here. And go right in between here and make a dent in between the two pieces of cardboard. That's going to be where you fold it later when you fold it up. So you want to make it easier. You want to break the fibers here a little bit for the book to fold, and it'll be easier when we put the other paper on to you know, we'll be able to see where it goes better. Now you want to be careful. If you use the point, you can end up tearing the paper, and that's not good. Not good at all. If you have this little overlap where there's a little piece sticking out in the corner right there, make sure to put glue in there. Not a whole lot. You don't want it to ooze out. Just make sure there's glue in there. And that will hold that corner through. And you can either fold it towards you or away from you, I guess. Usually I do away. Nice crisp fold. I don't know if you could hear it, but it was crackling, like my voice. Now I have a scrap of cream colored paper. So now we want this to be a little bit shorter. We want it to be the same height as the paper. And then we want it to be 1 inch wide. So we're going to do it 3 inches wide. We want an inch on either side, and then we want it to get glued in the center. Now you're going to want to ink the edges here and here. so that it matches everything else. And once again, this is the spine, so you want to make sure to get the center where it goes over this part glued really well so that it doesn't come away from the cardboard when you go to close the journal. And it won't bubble up, because this will definitely bubble up if you don't do it correctly. It will bubble up in the center when you go to close your book, the journal, whatever the heck it is you're making. Even from the top and the bottom, even from left to right. Now we're going to glue the strings on. And these are going to be way too long. I don't feel like guessing. So I'm just going to cut this in half. And then right in the middle, whoopsie, we're going to put some glue. Don't go all the way to the edge. And I put tape over it. I'm going to put 2 pieces. This is frayed right here. This kind of cord, or whatever you want to call it, has a tendency to fray. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of tape to hold it down. Then I'm going to take the other piece. I'm going to go straight across. Okay. We need to use the bone folder in here so it's bending correctly. I forgot to do that. We're just going to do it right along. Just going to start where our marks were here. Follow it all the way up. There's a little groove in there, so your bone folder should go easily. And then you can close it up. Make sure it closes correctly. Okay. Let's put the inside pieces on. And ink these. And we're going to glue it down. This is directional, so when we put our front covers on, we have to remember to put it in the same direction that these papers are in. So I'm going to, when I'm done with these two, I'm going to flip over to the other side. I'm going to go to the dark side, and then I'm going to mark which way is up and which way is down. Make sure you glue it good on either side of your string. And make sure the top and the bottom edges line up with these edges. Oh, I don't need my pencil, I need my glue. I don't know what I'm doing. All of a sudden my eyes just got really super sleepy. You know what that means. Long moments of silence while I take little bitty naps. So weird, sleep disorder that I have. Anytime during the day, no matter what I'm doing, I can fall asleep. Even talking and working on this with you and actually using my brain to think about what I'm doing. I remember now, I was going to do a Wizard of Oz hat once. Still have to figure out how. I don't know why I'm putting so much glue on this. It won't go anywhere. Well, especially now. I didn't ink this. I'm going to try to not get glue on here. But I put so much glue on this paper, I think we'll be all right to glue it down, you know, putting it down. Looks like I bet you have to put more glue on there so I can move it around. It's sticking down too well. It's almost like using art glitter glue where you have to get it exactly right. Now, if you want to, you could add little elves down here, or I mean mice down here, if you wanted to. But this one has writing on it. This one doesn't. This one is the front cover. This one's the back cover. That's why I didn't worry about it not having the text on there. I could have printed this again. Maybe I should have. You never know. You're going to have the signature in between. Now we're going to glue on the spine first. In fact, we're going to do the cover before we do the holes for the spine, because that way we've got the spine covered before we do the paper. So here's some choices. This would actually work. This would work as well. Craft paper. I almost put the paper down first. Yeah, see, here we are at an hour. We may go an hour and a half. I may just put the brown and the green on there without an image because it's going to be so skinny. Oh, shoot. Paper moved, and I think it moved and made it shorter. I want to get this as close as I can because we're going to, you know, be layering the papers. So it still seems short to me. I think we can go a little bit longer. Gosh darn it. We can get it longer this time. There we go. There we go. Okay. We want to do the same thing with the green, only narrower, obviously. Make sure you're putting the glue on the side you haven't inked. And we're going to put this right in the center of the brown. Now we're going to take a look at these. I'd really like to be able to get this little mouse right down here. We can get the center of him. Is that going to look bad though? It's going to look weird. Maybe I should just go for the center of the mushroom. Did you see that? There was so much glue on my fingers, I just lifted my fingers up and the paper came with it. Yeah, I like that. We're just going to put it in the center, even though it's a little bit lower, because it's only the height of the paper, so there's nothing else we can do. We can't make it any longer. We are not magicians. You can tell it's a mushroom over here. That media mat works for holding paper down when you're inking or doing whatever. But it also holds your ink pads still. And you want to make sure you're putting this on right side up. When you glue it down. So you're going to want to look at your T for your top. Yeah, I put too much glue on there. I think I'm going to have to take the glue eraser to it. There are little brown spots on this paper, so don't freak out if there's a brown spot that you can't get up. Okay. All right, now we don't actually have to do the front and back cover yet. We can put the holes in. Really have some glue coming out right here. Okay, so this is a 1-inch spine, so we're just going to measure in a 1/2 inch. Oh, look at that, this slid. It was still wet enough to slide when we darn it. When we flipped it over, there was enough wet glue that it slid this way. Now see, it isn't that noticeable, but I know. It's more noticeable up here than it is anywhere else. Forgot how small these papers are. Get that extra glue off. I want to go about 1/4 inch down and 1/2 inch in. So 1/4 inch down is right where the top of this paper is. Should be the same down here. And I don't think I have any eyelets. So I'm going to put it on the 1/8 inch hole, the smaller hole. And let me get my white elastic. All right, this is 1.5 millimeter cord. The smaller, the 1 or the 3/4 that they use to make bracelets with is too thin. Okay, it isn't sturdy enough to hold your signature. That one looks like it's a smidge off. Okay, we're going to have to trim these, of course. So I'm going to go in from the outside. And then I'm going to kind of measure this, even though it's not in the hole, obviously, because you can't put the roll in. And pull these tight. You want it to be tight to hold in your signature. This makes it difficult for me to do. We'll see if I can get it. Okay, and then I move this part up to the top so it isn't a knot in the middle. Okay, so now that's ready. So we're going to do the front and the back the same way. And I'm going to show you the front, and then I'll let you do the back because it's exactly the same way, and that way we're not on here forever. Looks like that moved as well. Should have waited a little bit longer. I was going to do something first and I don't remember what it was. Oh. Going to want to measure this, use this as a guide. Can't believe that slid over and now you can't see the green. That's why you keep your ink covered, boy. Trying to not get that much or that many of the fuzzies on there. Yeah, normally, I would have already had the cardboard pieces cut. The reason I could wipe that off and flip it over is because you're only going to see 1/8 of an inch of it. I could have just flipped it over and inked this side and finished gluing the other side. Either way. Now we're going to take a piece of chipboard you know what? Let's just do the green first. Otherwise, we'll have to do 2 pieces of chipboard. Let's see, I think I can show more of the brown because the paper is pretty small. Now in this second level here, you could also, or I mean this first level here, you could have put a pattern piece of paper. I have so much glue on my fingers. Okay, you can take your chipboard. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than your image. So what I do is I measure the top paper and then I cut it a little bit, smaller. And that will raise this up just a little bit. Now, if you're going to put lace or something on, you might want to put it on before you put this layer down. You might want to put your lace, or put the lace on the back of here. We've taken so long now that I don't think I'm going to glue this little topper thing down until I take a look at it and see if I want to put any lace on there, because we've got lace inside the journal. So we may want to put lace or something around the edges. So what you would do is you would glue this to this like so, and it raises it up a little bit. Can't believe how many times I've had to cut stuff and then it slid. I'm so angry. You just don't even want to know. Had it perfect too. Okay, so I might want some lace on here. I don't know though, that would cover up the green. So I'll probably just put it on the way it is. Yeah, if we were going to do lace, we probably should have done it under the brown so that you could still see the layers here. So I am going to go ahead and glue this down. But yeah, we should have done it under the brown, the first layer, if we were going to do it. Wasn't thinking about it covering everything. It's the nothing. That's from The Never-Ending Story. A good movie even if you're an adult. And you want to make sure not to glue the edges of the paper down. You want them to kind of stick out a little bit. So don't get overzealous when you're pushing it down. You don't want to push the edges down. Okay, so that's what our front cover is going to look like. Our back cover is going to look the same, only a different image. And that's going to be it for this video. We are going to, to put our, gosh, I don't want it to slide. To put our signature in, we just slide the pages under here, under the elastic. And then put the center in the center where the elastic is. Okay? So that's very easy. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to take a chance on the front cover sliding. Been having a lot of trouble with that. You can even see because there's glue there. Okay, all right, well that's it for this video. I'll see you in the flip through on the 30th, which is going to be live. So if you don't catch it, then you can always come back and watch the replay. I think I'm going to do it at 9 o'clock Central Time, which is noon on the East Coast, and 8 in the Central Time, and 12, 11, 10 a.m. in Mountain. Okay? And then we'll go through the insides and see them all put together and any last touches that I've put on for them. All right? Okay, well, you have a great day and a Merry Christmas in July, and I will see you again at the end of the month. Okay? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.